Meet Mike. Mike is 30 years old, a graphic designer, and he just landed a grown-up promotion to $50,000 a year. To celebrate, Mike didn't just buy a six-pack of beer, he bought a block of artisanal truffle cheese that cost $22. For the first time in his life, he allowed himself to believe that he had finally made it. He'd climbed out of the hole. He was going to be stable. Fast forward 8 months. It's midnight on a rainy Tuesday, and Mike is sitting in a Taco Bell drive-thru staring at his calculator app with his heart racing. He's trying to figure out if he can afford both a burrito and his internet bill this week. His checking account has exactly $94 in it. His credit card balance just hit $5,000 because his laptop screen cracked and his car radiator exploded in the same week. Mike makes more money than he's ever seen, he did everything right, and he is technically broke. What happened? $50,000 happened. My name is Mike, and today we are going to walk through exactly how $50,000 becomes the most expensive income bracket in America. This is where the system stops helping you and starts hunting you. Mike's first mistake was offer letter optimism. When he saw the number 50,000, his brain did what every brain does: divide by 12. He planned his new life around $4,166 per month. But Mike was never going to see that money. After federal income tax, FICA, and state taxes, Mike's actual take-home pay is $3,316. That is $850 less per month than he thought. That is over $10,000 a year that simply evaporated between the offer letter and his bank account. And here is the truly cruel part of the middle-class trap: the success penalty. When Mike works his tail off to get a raise to $53,000 next year, he won't see $3,000. He'll see about $2,200 because nearly a quarter of his raise disappears immediately to marginal tax rates. Mike is working 40% harder for a 5% increase in his actual quality of life. He's paying a premium for the luxury of being single and middle class. Here is where Mike's story takes a turn that feels like a glitch in the financial matrix. Meet his coworker, Bob. Bob makes $48,000, technically less than Mike, but Bob has 2 kids. That means Bob files as head of household and gets massive child tax credits. Mike got a raise and crossed the $50,000 line, but because he's a single filer with no dependents, the system views him as privileged. He gets 0 breaks. When you do the math, Bob is actually walking away with more cash than Mike, despite the smaller salary. Then, Mike's health insurance premium jumped from $180 to $340 because of subsidy phase-outs. He got a $1,000 raise and ended up taking home $420 less per year. Congratulations on your success, Mike. Here is your punishment. This puts him in the debt sandwich. He makes too much for government help, but not enough to actually live. One $600 emergency, like a sick cat, destroys his month. The gap gets filled with plastic. Mike is drowning, but the system calls him a success. His credit score is 720, so the bank lender runs his numbers using his gross income, that fake $4,000 number. With his current debts, they approve him for a mortgage up to $958 per month. That's a $180,000 house. Let's be clear, a bank looked at a guy with a $94 balance and rising credit card debt and said, "You should definitely take on more debt." That $958 doesn't include property taxes, maintenance, or the fridge that dies 3 months after move-in. But Mike sees the approval and thinks he must be doing okay because the bank said so. Wrong. The bank would approve you for a voluntary root canal if they could charge interest on the drill. They profit from putting people into loans they can barely service. The bank's math is based on you surviving. Your math should be based on you thriving. Who carries the most credit card debt in America? It's not the rich, and it's not the poor. It's Mike. Federal Reserve data shows that middle-income households carry double the credit card debt of people above and below them. Why? Because rich people have savings and poor people can't qualify for the high credit limits. But Mike qualifies for $15,000 limits and lives in a reality where one car repair destroys his budget. The average household carrying debt owes over $10,000 at interest rates over 20%. Mike is paying nearly $3,000 a year just in interest. That is 5% of his gross income going to credit card companies for the privilege of covering the gap between his paycheck and his bills. And it's not because he bought a jet ski. He put tires on the card. He's financing a radiator. He's promising himself he'll pay it off when things calm down. But at $50,000, things never calm down. Before we solve Mike's life, let's protect your digital one. This video is sponsored by Surfshark. If you're like Mike, you're managing your entire life online. Surfshark encrypts your traffic and hides your IP so the system can't track you. It even checks if your email has been leaked in data breaches. Check the link in the description for a deal. Now, back to Mike's mistakes. When he got promoted, he did what 91% of people do: lifestyle creep. He upgraded his apartment, financed a Camry instead of fixing his old Civic, and got a nicer gym membership. He got a $443 raise and spent $753 upgrading his life. It's financial Pac-Man, where every dollar you earn gets eaten by slightly nicer versions of what you already had. In 1990, $50,000 had the purchasing power of $124,000 today. You can't budget your way out of a world where everything costs 4 times what it should. Mike needs the fake demotion. He makes $50,000, but he must live like he makes $38,000. That's not deprivation, it's reality adjusted for 35 years of cost increases. He needs to automate a 25% paycheck split, 15% to retirement, and 10% to savings before he even sees the money. If he doesn't see it, he doesn't spend it. He should sell the Camry, buy a boring, reliable Civic in cash, and move to a cheaper apartment. It sucks for 2 years and his Instagram will look boring, but in 5 years, Mike will have $67,000 in the bank and the power to say no to a job he hates. That is the math of freedom. Everything changes after $50,000. You just have to choose if it changes for you or against you. Don't be a ghost in the system. Understand the math, walk away from the debt, and get your control back. Live on 75% and invest the rest.